Hi, I am Tania Allard. My pronouns are she, her, and this year I am running for the PSF board in this election term.
What areas of the Python community are you involved with?
I am involved in multiple areas within our Python community. I am part of PyLadies. I am actually one of the PyLadies Global Council members. I also work a lot in areas like documentation, packaging, where I maintain a number of packages or tools, and I contribute to that. I'm also kind of involved, like on and off, in Python and Espanol. I have very deep ties with the scientific computing side of things, Python, like the whole PyData ecosystem. That is, I have a background in research software engineering, so that is actually what brought me really into Python right now.
What is your experience working with the PSF or other boards?
I recently completed my first term as a PSF Board Director, so that was 2021 to 2024, a 3-year term. But before that, I had already participated in a number of non-profit boards as well, mostly within the UK, which is where I am based. I was a trustee for the Python UK Association and for the Research Software Engineering Association. In the UK, they're called association versus non-profit organizations, but essentially they hold the same status. They have very similar responsibilities, and they are guided in a similar way, just adhering to local laws.
What changes do you want to implement on the PSF board? And is this your motivation for running?
This year, I am running again for the PSF Board of Directors. I think that over the last 3 years, or my first term, I actually managed to get quite a good amount of work done, engage with different parts of our community, build bridges, especially in between the traditional, for example, packaging Python community and the more scientific Python packaging community. And that is something that I would like to continue doing. I would like to give some of continuity to that work. I've also brought in a lot of my strategic expertise as a senior leader also in open source and tech in general. So I would like to continue bringing that expertise. It takes quite a while to develop, and after all of these years, like building up to that part, I would like to continue sharing and like making that expertise available to the board. Aside from that, I would like to continue to strengthen the overall PSF programs, or in like some of our initiatives. I think over these years that I've been sitting as board, it has become evident that our community has continued to grow and evolve, and it is only fair that also our processes and the way that we run, for example, our working groups and some other initiatives, also evolve to meet our community where they are. There are some things that might need some tweaking, especially after the pandemic. We've seen that events have changed a lot. There's also been like a general slowdown in the tech ecosystem, the tech environment, when it comes to sponsorship and just money available for open source and sponsoring projects. So there is quite a lot of improvements that we can continue to make to better serve the community, and also not just in the grants area, but I also want to continue to support other working groups to ensure that we continue to empower our community and support them in a way that really matters to them, in a way that is aligned with our needs and the mission of the PSF. As I mentioned before, I came through to Python through the scientific side of things, through the PyData ecosystem, and I've been trying to reach these two communities. Like I've been trying to include or build bridges between the scientific Python side of the community and the general Python community, and I would like to continue doing that during another term of the PSF board. I think it's also very healthy to have as much representation of our community, not only when it comes to, for example, geographical regions or gender or whatever, but also ensuring that we have people that represent the different applications and sub-communities within the Python ecosystem. I think that is also very critical within the board, especially as we continue to make, or as the board makes strategic decisions to support the whole community. It's good to have this representation and have the different parts of our community being heard and being considered as part of those processes.
What other impact do you hope to make as a board member?
And finally, there is something that I care a lot about: user experience in general, accessibility, making tools and websites and everything accessible to people with disabilities, mostly because despite the fact that up to 20 to 25% of the general population are people with disabilities, we still have a lot of work to do in general in the web to make it more accessible. So this is something that is very dear and close to my heart. Over the last few years, I've been working a lot on making tools, documentation, projects more accessible, and I would like to continue to do that through the PSF. I would like to continue to make the PSF and the Python.org resources more useful and friendlier for newcomers, because it's been pointed out that sometimes that very first experience of a person coming to Python, whether it's from another language or their first foreign language or coming from another ecosystem and community, can be quite confusing. So I would like to improve that first experience, ensure that official resources of Python are also useful and accessible to people with disabilities, because that ultimately also benefits everyone and will help us to include a part of our community and global community that is usually often overseen or overlooked, which is people with disabilities. In general, I would like to provide better access to our global community wherever they are. Again, and finally, something that we've been looking at, especially during this board, and I would like to give continuity to, is the sustainability of the PSF as a whole, sustainability of the Python community, and that ties very nicely with rethinking and re-evaluating the processes that we currently follow. Yeah,